There are a dozen reasons why folks start stacking silver. As a savings account, preservation of wealth, battle inflation, prepping, list goes on really. But one thing's got me thinking, how much silver do I really need, and should I contemplate stopping my stacking? I'm going to go over this topic as well as touch on the amount of silver you might need in a crisis situation. And maybe that'll help change my mind, right? Stay tuned. YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. Can't thank you enough for being here with me today, and also for all the amazing support. That only makes you guys a part of the best damn community here on YouTube, no question. You've all helped this little channel grow, and it means more than you know. So today, we're going to talk about when a good time to stop stacking silver might be, and my personal thoughts on my own situation. I'm also going to go over how many ounces of silver you might need to help you through a financial crisis. Now, that being said, you know it. Let's roll it.
And here we go.
All right, so I like to do an in-depth review of my portfolio on a monthly basis, just to kind of see where things are, and if I need to tweak anything. Everything looked in place during my last glance, like real estate, stocks, bonds, CDs, 401k, crypto, yada yada. You know, typical balanced portfolio, or at least I try to keep it that way. But then I got to the precious metals portion of it all, and I looked at my silver and gold accrual. Focusing mostly on the silver, since I'm pretty happy with where my gold stands. But that silver, well, it got me to thinking. I've reduced the stack twice now. Once in an even trade for something else, and once for a conversion to a few pre-33 gold pieces that I really wanted. Now, both deals were more than fair, and it cut down on me being top-heavy in silver. Now, the experts say, well, the quote-unquote experts, say that you shouldn't have more than 7 to 15% or 15 to 20% if you're long-term of your portfolio in precious metals. I'm not even close to that, even being top-heavy in silver. But even after 2 reductions, the stack is back. And it got me thinking, how much silver is enough silver? So in order to figure that out, I went back to the reason I got into silver in the first place, and that was because of a simple country guy I know who bought a couple of kilos silver bars. And me always looking for the next investment, I thought to myself, well, hell, if this guy thinks something's up with silver, maybe I ought to buy some myself. So I started stacking. And yeah, if you're thinking that was an absolutely stupid reason to start stacking, you'd be 100% correct.
Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid?
Stupid as stupid does, Miss Blue.
I guess.
Yep. I didn't do my due diligence till after making a couple of small purchases. But once I did do my research, I found a comfort level in what I'd taken on, and I continued to make weekly buys, which I still do to this day. Now, the way I saw it, silver was good for a couple of reasons that fit into my portfolio. Number one, it seemed to keep up with inflation over the years for the most part. I mean, it does take time, but it eventually does seem to correct within reason. And two, because of the volatility, I never looked at my stack as an investment. Now, others can say they invest in silver, but I see it as this. I don't invest in silver. I save in silver. Now, I figured that in the next 20 years, it'd at least be worth as much or a bit more than what I had into it, and I could turn that around into more real estate. Keeping in mind, of course, capital gains taxes and all that other crap. I mean, I'd have to sell it off carefully in order to do it right. And the last reason was a simple one. I wanted to have the equivalent of 6 months of expenses in silver at spot price on hand in case of an emergency. Times have changed since then. And I've modified that 6 months into years. Now, with the economy changing before our eyes, I expanded what I wanted to have on hand. Let's fast forward to present times, and I'm well over my initial goal that I'd set for silver. I'm definitely top heavy in it, and I'm starting to wonder if it's time to take a step back. Now, here's the problem. A good majority of us are on the antsy side of things when it comes to our finances. We watch them like a hawk, and we are so beyond trusting the Fed and anyone else to cure our economy. Who knows how things will change if and when I'm ready to retire. Now, I do have a ways to go, so I can afford to be a little bit patient with my silver. But do I really need to keep adding to it since I've just about quadrupled my original goal? Should I go ahead and quit buying silver and just hold? Or do I keep adding to it, clinging to that potential of it the next 15 years or so? We've all heard the stories about silver shooting the moon, industrial use is going to go up, solar energy, shortage in supply, yada, 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 blah, blah. We've heard all the crap from the Neumeyers, Kiyosaki's, and Zhangs of the world. Hell, at this point, I'd just be happy to get a few bucks an ounce over what I have into it when the time comes. I have no predilection for my silver that's making me see it through rose-colored glasses. When it comes time to sell it, it's out of here. So anyway, I've been on the fence with quitting my silver stacking, but the allure of silver makes it tough to quit. It's a beautiful metal, has value, it's affordable, and right now it's readily available. I mean, we're talking about the ultimate poor man's gold here. Anyway, let's do a hypothetical. Let's say you've hit a financial crisis and the money has stopped rolling in. You got your silver stash to help out in the interim, but how much do you need to get by? Let's take a quick look. All right, so I've put together this chart to give you an idea how many ounces of silver will help you get by in the event you experience a financial crash. Now, this chart is purely hypothetical, guys. We don't know what spot silver is going to be if you ever have to go through this. Could be, these numbers could change tomorrow. I mean, I've used $25 an ounce here because that seemed to be a solid average, even though that hasn't been the case over the past couple of years, but it's a good round number to start with. So I'll explain the chart here real quick. This is what you would need if all you had left was your silver. And assuming someone will buy it, and we're not in an SHTF situation where the dollar's tanked. In that case, silver's not going to do you much good anyway. So the chart itself, again, I've used $25 as a spot price. And you see how I bolded and italicized that 3K. To me, that's about typical. That's typical expenses for a family with kids grown. Everyone's situation is different. For me, my kids are grown, so it's just the wife and I, a mortgage, couple dogs, couple of car payments, food, utilities, yada, yada. So I've broken it up into zones. You see 3 different colors here. The green zone is what I call the doable zone. And for many of us, that's how much we could comfortably survive if we had to survive on silver. I think if you're a serious stacker, you could eventually get yourself to 1,440 ounces. It is doable over the course of years, or for some people, far less than that. I've known people who went to 1,000 in under a year, and then others who took 10 years to get there. But according to the chart, if you had 1,000 in expensive, 1,440 ounces would carry you for 3 years. If you had 2,000, it would carry you for 18 months. If you had 3,000, that's about where I fall, 1,440 ounces would carry for a year. So the next zone is the yellow zone. And, well, things are starting to get a little hot up in here with that yellow zone. Let's face it, the majority of stackers are under 1,000 ounces of silver. It's just the reality. Many stackers don't ever hit that $1,000 range. They don't hit that 1,000 ounce range. And then there's the red zone, and I have a name for this one.
Forget about it!
Yep, the forget about it zone. The majority of us are never going to see these numbers. We're never going to accrue some of these numbers. The lowest number in the red zone is 2,880 ounces. And if you had $3,000 in expenses per month, that would carry me for, 2 years. So, yeah, that's the red zone. Most stackers aren't going to see the red zone in ounces. They're just not. That's the reality of it. The yellow zone, potentially, sure. The green zone is more of our doable zone. All right, now I got the idea for this chart from goldsilver.com, but theirs was outdated with the spot price. So I just went ahead and did my own based on their model and recalculated the numbers predicated on 2023 values. Anyway, you can always pause this video on the slide if you'd like to take a closer look. But one thing this chart does indicate is that most of us absolutely cannot depend on just our silver if we go into survival mode, at least not for a long-term period, right? Now, you got to remember, like I said, a good amount of stackers aren't at 1,000 ounces of silver. So it would be a very temporary solution for most if that's what it came down to. And also, we have to face the stark reality that a good portion of Americans right now can't even afford a sudden $1,000 expense if it comes up. That's just real, folks. And it's indicative of the times today. It's also a stark reminder that it's a solid plan to stack cash each payday so you don't have to tap into your metals. Even if it's just a little, it does add up. And based on all of this that I've just shown you, and despite my hesitance to continue stacking silver, I'm going to keep on stacking until I can't. Now, a lot of the non-PM types are going to see this as a fool's errand. I get it. That's okay. But I'm not spending any money on metals that I can't afford to lose, so it's technically going into a savings account of sorts. And my other investments are doing exactly what they're supposed to do for now. So I do have some leeway. The finish line for me isn't really close, but not all that far off either. I plan on stacking the distance, or at least until I can no longer do so.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
All right. There you have it, guys. So while I've been on the fence with quitting silver stacking, I think I'm going to stay the course and continue until I can't. Unless silver goes crazy, like above $50 an ounce. And then I'd definitely consider myself done and in hold mode on silver that I've stacked up to that point. But anyway, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below and let me know if you've thought about stopping your stacking or if you're still plugging away at your goal. I do have a blast going through them all, so make sure you sound off. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I'll definitely catch up with you in the next episode. But in the meantime, you know what's up.
What do you want to do with your life?
Damn right. Get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out. Oh, yeah. Peace, folks.
You still here? It's over. Go home. Go.